Barry, Dylan, Barry, pleasure to be speaking with you both. I'll throw the first one to Barry. Two-parter. How are you? And did you know that you want to direct this film, not just be creative behind the scenes with it beyond that title?
Uh, I'm well. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too.
Sure.
Um, yes, I did. I mean, I just did. Um, I just knew as I was writing it that I knew how I wanted it to look. Um, Not to say, another director couldn't also make it look beautiful, but
Sure.
it felt like it was my child, And this one I just didn't want to let go of, you know. I just didn't. But, at the end of the day, to be honest, if I had to, I would have, because, except the things we cannot change. So,
Well said. Well, Dylan, moving it over to you, the similar two-parter. How are you? And then with this role, were there any particular challenges that you didn't foresee, or is it just easy sailing?
Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too.
Sure.
I think playing a serial killer definitely is one of the toughest challenges in my career so far. I think getting into a place where you're just manic and very how do you say it? It's just quick reactions and I think I lost myself a little bit at times, but was able to kind of bring it back and bring it into, I'm not a serial killer. I'm not actually, but you catch yourself a little bit because you're just angry all the time.
Well, following up on an entirely different area right here, both you and Barry have that musical background. Was that something that you leaned into or used as a bond when you were on the set with Barry and team?
Oh yeah, of course. I think music has a huge correlation in acting, and with the way we speak is it's vocality wise, it goes
Hmm.
up and down and up and down. So that's very musical, and like Barry's probably gonna get into is the music in this is very
Hmm.
important. So I think, the way that Barry thinks is very musically. So like, the character itself, he would describe the scene to me and it would almost be in music and something like that. So it had a huge effect on this film.
So, Barry, on the musical end, if internet research is correct, you moved out to LA to pursue the songwriting career, which you continue to get cuts and covers and all that. The fitness, also success right there, and the writing and directing, close to 100 productions in some form, etc. Where you're at right now, was that all on the game plan, or is that just accidental success?
the game plan was to be a songwriter. When I moved and I was 20 years old, there was nothing else in existence but writing songs. Um, s- I met somebody and we started writing a screenplay together.
Hmm.
Just because, who doesn't want to write a screenplay? And that was that for years. And then when I got sober, I started writing songs again. And I realized that demos were a lot of money to make, like as much as I wanted to make them.
Hmm.
I thought to myself, why don't I go back to screenwriting? I love horror movies. And I can write as much as I want because God, I'm a dancer, a dancer dances. I have to write. So I started writing and I got, that 10,000 hour thing. I would not let anybody read my first three scripts or maybe my first 10.
Wow. Okay.
Um, but the music ended up, it ended up working out, I would say. I'm very, very, very happy with this box that's been checked. Um, the music to me was so important. I was thinking of it as I was writing it.
Hmm.
And because I didn't want to get married to anything too soon, you always want to be open. When I was watching the performances, like what Dylan and Ariel gave me in a scene would help me choose what song that is.
Hmm.
But the song has to fit the scene. Sometimes you need a modern radio song, sometimes you need that indie kind of alternative soft rock thing, and then at the club, I went to Poe the Passenger and they gave me some, rock club music that fits perfectly, and Frat Mouse, I want to give a shout out to Frat Mouse. They gave me a lot of indie indie soft rock songs that really underline the scene, and that's what it's about. Because I'm a big believer in the music and the scene have got to fit. Because the
Hmm.
audience will know something's wrong, even if they don't know what it is, they'll know something's off.
Hmm. Well, back to you, Dylan. Like father, like son, you told me not the easiest film to make, but seem very pleased with the end result to it. Now, it's a new movie to us. To you, it's something you presumably did what, 2 years ago? Year and a
Oh
half?
man, about a year and a half ago, yeah.
Okay. Are we allowed to know what's next for you or from you, or are you just under a bunch of embargoes and keep checking your Instagram?
Yeah, so I'm actually in movement right now with what I'm doing. So I can't really say too much what's going
Mhm.
on until it's announced, but I'm filming a movie in March and April. So I'm excited for those two, and they're different from what I've ever done. So really excited about that. And then I'm working on my first full project that I'm producing out as well this
Wow.
year. Really excited about that one. So just a lot of things in the pipeline, but definitely excited about.
So you're not a serial killer in this or the next few
Uh,
projects.
despite the want and the need for that kind of thing right now. No, I'm not. So
Spoiler alert. Got it. And then
well,
Barry, for you, IMDb says that this is an upcoming film, so it's
Yes.
obviously not everything you're working on. Are we allowed to know where we're going to see you or hear from you next?
Oh, yeah. And this might come as a surprise to Dylan. So I'm done directing. It's just hung up the director hat. Um, and I went back to that writing thing. I love writing.
Hmm.
So I just recently wrote a handful of scripts, got a couple of pitch decks done. And I'm working on sending those around. All right, I'm not working that hard on sending those around because I've fully circled back to songwriting. And I have been producing demos and songs left and right, and I put them up on SoundCloud and Spotify for the first time. And the results have been really, really nice to see. I mean, much more than I ever thought. And the comments are great, and it just feels really good to have the music actually heard and appreciated. So,
The
and then my husband and I are moving to Spain, July 7.
Okay,
So,
so no more directing, moving to another country, putting up new material. Okay, you're kind of hard to track, Barry, but I think I'd say that's a good thing. Okay, the last question, which I'll ask both of you, Barry first. What's the last concert that you went to see? Because again, music person, music people got to talk to music people.
oh, I'm so glad you asked this, and I hope to keep it short. Cyndi Lauper
Hmm.
in Dallas, Texas. We flew there from Vegas and took a friend who lives in Dallas, and we all had the best night ever watching Cindy in her final, what do they call it? At her final
Farewell
concert.
tour.
Her
Yeah.
farewell tour, yes, her farewell tour. She was better than I ever dreamed. Still in full voice.
Mhm.
True colors brought the house down. It was everything I could possibly want from a concert, and I don't go often, so that's good.
Glad to hear that one. Dylan, you have the last word. Your last concert, do you remember what that was?
yeah, I do. It was actually a month ago. I went to a J. Cole concert. I'm a big hip hop fan, so for me that was like a dream come true. Um, but yeah, I go to Coachella every year, and um, I go to concerts quite a bit. So
You go to
yeah,
Coachella in costume?
not in costume, but I have a few friends that like to dress up quite a bit, so you could call that a costume for sure.
Right.
Um,
You wear a costume for a living, so you don't need to do that for
yeah, I'm in
pleasure.
hair and makeup a lot, so I don't need to pull that off in my outside of life, kind of thing. So yeah,
For sure. Well, congrats you both on Like Father, Like Son, and looking forward to the next projects from both of you. Thank you for your time.
no,
Thank
thank you.
you, Darren. You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.